Someone asked me, Jeff, what's your spiritual perspective on the Israel-Gaza, Israel-Palestine war? Because I'm supposed to be a spiritual teacher, so I'm supposed to have a spiritual perspective. Um, and I think it would be so easy for me to just spout out automatically, unconsciously, just kind of spew out, vomit out some tired old spiritual cliche in response to that question. And you've heard all the spiritual cliches, like everything is love and everything is a projection. So if you see war out there, if you see suffering and violence out there, it's not really out there, it's really in you. The cliches, like, in pure awareness there is no suffering, or everything is pure love, or worse, the people in Gaza, or people in Ukraine, or people in Israel, or wherever there's conflict, that they somehow brought it upon themselves by manifesting incorrectly, or that they weren't doing the law of attraction correctly, or they were in a low vibration, or they were too negative and therefore they attracted negative things into their lives. All of this, all crap. I mean, let's just be honest, it's just crap. It's just concepts. It's just simplistic, cold, detached concepts. So I didn't want to just kind of spew out some pre-digested answer to that question. What's my spiritual perspective on these conflicts? So I really just sat with myself for a while, and this is what I try and do. I don't just want to give it automatic answers to a question, just spew out something because it sounds good, or because it's going to make me look wise or look spiritual. I have no interest in appearing to be spiritual. That's just ego stuff. Oh, look at me, I'm so spiritual. So I'm also a human being. And I made a video about this recently, how important it is to remember that, however, we're divine and we're pure awareness and pure consciousness, and we are love and light and bliss. Well, there's truth. There might be truth in all of that, but we are also human beings with these beautiful, sensitive nervous systems and hearts that break. And the truth is, I don't have any spiritual wisdom to offer. I really don't. I sat for a while, and what I found was a broken heart. I found my heart breaking. When I that's the truth. When I look at all this the killing and the conflict, and the all the innocent victims, men, women, children, babies, people losing their lives, losing their livelihoods, losing their homes, and it's just utterly, utterly, shatteringly heartbreaking. And I think we often we just try to avoid, don't we? We try to avoid our own heartbreak. It's so painful when we look at the suffering in the world, and sometimes we just feel so powerless, and sometimes our hearts just break. And I think it's really important, and I talk about this a lot, it's really important to make room in our lives for heartbreak, to let our hearts break. Because it's only through heartbreak that we can begin to find true compassion for ourselves and for our brothers and sisters all over the world who are suffering through heartbreak. Let our hearts break together. Heartbreak can soften us. It can bring us into deep compassion. It can help us discover our own deepest wisdom. So out of that heartbreak, and out of that not knowing and not wanting to rush to a cliched answer or some second-hand answer, I wanted the answer to be original. And so what I found was this poem started to bubble up from the depths of my whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's a poem. I don't know if it deserves to be called a poem. It's just some words in response to that question, like what's my response? Well, I think the poem, if we call it a poem, I think it speaks for itself. So I'm going to read it, and I just invite you to listen with an open heart and an open mind. This was written from the depths of my sincerity and my vulnerability. I'm not trying to lecture anyone. It's the last thing I want to do. I do not have the answers. I'm not qualified to talk about these conflicts on so many levels, geopolitical, historical, or so many different perspectives. But this is my unique answer that came from my heart, from the depths of my humanity, not from a concept. So it's called My Desperate and Sad Prayer. And it begins like this. I pray. I pray for Israel. I pray for Palestine. I pray for all of us now. And if you condemn me for taking sides, or you judge me for not taking sides, then maybe you just don't understand the depths of this love. Because love itself is the prayer, and the one who prays, and the longing, and the light, and the darkness, and the answer. And so I pray for you too, for all of your conflicting parts, for all the children fighting within you. And I pray for you to know the consciousness prior to identity. I pray for you to know the I am itself. Before I am a Palestinian, before I am an Israeli, before I am Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, or an atheist, before division itself, before any notion of God or her absence, before time, before all of this began, before the world, the joy and the sorrow of living, before territory and history, I am what you are. I am your rage, your grief, your loneliness, your fear, your vulnerable heart, your powerlessness, your shaking. And through these eyes, perhaps we can finally love each other in spite of our beliefs, in spite of our ancient rage and our lust for revenge, in spite of religion, in spite of what the holy books tell us to think. You are my brother, my sister, my child, my mother, my father. I pray for love to permeate the world before it's too late. I pray for awakening. I pray for Palestine. I pray for Israel before it's too late. I pray for all the children, all the babies, all the mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends and enemies. I pray for the end of hostilities before it's too late. I pray for all those who are scared right now. And I pray that my small, sad prayer helps in some way, even in some small way, even in some tiny way. I pray for you. I pray for me. I pray for us. I pray. Lots of love to you all.